Good morning. Welcome to the Chamber's annual meeting, virtual. The first time I think we've ever done one like this. Normally we're all face to face, but I'm face to face with a lot of you right now. I can see you all on the screen. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you so much to our friends from CMC who we'll hear from in a couple of minutes. They are the sponsor of the meeting. They are streaming this live right now on, if you've got Comcast, you're on HD 1086, but don't leave here to go there. Watch us here. We just want to thank them that hopefully there's other people out there watching. Also being streamed live on their Facebook page, their website, and their YouTube channel. And after this is over, we'll probably have it up on our website, our Facebook page in the next couple days or so. So again, I want to welcome you here for the Chamber's annual meeting. As we kind of cruise through, we're going to hear from our speaker a little bit later, Mr. Jeremy Willett from Willet Family Farms, and we're also going to elect a new slate of directors for the Chamber. 6 people that are going to serve 2021, 2, and 3. So a couple of odds and ends. I want to give you some basic guidelines about Zoom, although I think probably most of you know how this works. Again, keep yourself muted unless it's your time to speak. Don't forget, if you can see yourself, we can see you. So just keep that in mind. If you've got to go somewhere, sometimes people like to hide the actual videos so we can't see you, but that's up to you. Your name, I think everybody's got their name so it appears on the screen, but if you want to change it, there's a couple of you that just maybe have your first name. If you want people to see who you are, you hover your arrow over your picture, right click, and you get a drop down and you can rename yourself. It's usually good to have first and last name. At least if you want to put your business name in there, you can do that as well, but I'll leave that up to you. We're going to have some time for question and answer at the end, and that's where you're going to use the feature that's called chat at the bottom. So you can see that, you can click on that and you can type in your question. I'll be keeping track of that so we can try to get to your questions. Last but not least, when we go to the time where we're going to vote, we definitely want, we have to have folks vote. So at the bottom of your screen, if you bring your actual mouse down to the bottom, there's a spot that says reactions all the way over to the right side. You'll click on that. And if you're for the candidates that we say, you'll click your thumbs up and you'll see it just like I've got it on mine. And if you're against it, I'm not really certain what to do. But when we say you're against it, we'll figure it out. So usually most folks aren't. So, okay, other than that, I want to go through some upcoming events that we have happening with the Chamber. And as you can see, we've been pretty much doing Zoom for a lot of the year. But now as things are starting to open up a little bit more, we're doing some more face-to-face things. Like right now, Leadership Carroll has met for the overnight retreat. We also had a day this week, and we are moving along, and it's all going well, and they all love it. So everybody's healthy as long as we do things safe and we wear masks and just take some care to stay over 6 feet apart. So our upcoming events today, actually in the afternoon from 4 to 6, we are doing our new member meet and greet, and this will be at the town mall. And there'll be signs and all that, but I believe it's going to be in the actual courtyard outside of where Sears was. So we're going to have, I think, like 20 members that have joined over the last X number of months. Give you a chance to come and actually meet them. So bring your masks and let's have some fun. Next Tuesday, the 20th, we've got a commissioner's breakfast, and this one's going to be live. We're going to be hearing from Commissioner Frazier at the Union Mills Homestead. And I'm not quite certain, but there could be some space open for that. You can obviously go to our website, carrollcountychamber.org, or call us at 410-848-9050. It's like $20 to come out for breakfast and to hear him speak. On the 21st, next week, we've got a new member orientation. So this is for newer people that have joined, but if you are thinking of maybe coming on board with us or you know somebody who is, it's a great thing to get them involved in, to come and hear from us and to hear what it is that we offer. The 22nd, which is, I believe, next Thursday, we have a PM Connection live with the Historical Society, and all the information again is on our website for that. October 30th is our golf outing at the links of Shaladon, and it's completely sold out. But there is time if you want to actually buy like a tee sign or two to advertise to everybody who's going to golf there. Again, just contact our office through really the end of the day. Tomorrow is about the last time we have for that, but we'd love to have you do that. So those are really the upcoming events that we have. And I'd like to ask Mr. Richard Turner, Executive Director of the Community Media Center and a major partner of ours in all of these events and the sponsor of today, to take a couple minutes and talk to you about what they're doing at CMC. Richard, they're all yours.
Great. Thanks so much, Mike. Really appreciate it. And, I'm looking forward to working with you and the members of the Chamber Board and our local businesses to keep our local economy thriving and being a shining star in our region. So, you can watch any of the previous Chamber webinars. It's been a great resource in terms of the kinds of folks who've come through, focused on our community, focused on business. And you can find those archived on our website, which is carrollmediacenter.org. And so like today's session, we'll be having you can go back and search and be able to find all of that content. So it's a great resource, and also to be able to see how the chamber is supporting the community. So also, there's an election going on, if you hadn't noticed, and there's a local election going on. Of course, all you have to do is probably drive down the street and you'll be reminded of that. But every year with the elections, the CMC is involved with making sure that voters have the appropriate kind of information and can be educated as a voter when you walk into the voting booth. But I think it was in Chicago, they said vote early and vote often or something like that. But we have the resources so that you can find. We've been working with our local board of elections, and they're just doing a phenomenal job there. If you haven't met the head, Kathleen Berry, just amazing what they do, the amazing work that they do to make sure that we've got a safe and effective election. So we have information on our website. So if you've got any question about the candidates, you can go there and find their profiles. We give every candidate an opportunity and a level playing field so that you can hear their platform, how they're going to serve our community, so that you can be an educated and informed voter. So go to our website, and you'll see also we had a Board of Education Candidates Forum as well. And so that you can get to hear their points of view. With that, as always, I want to thank the CMC team also for responding during these challenging times and keeping our community informed. I'm super blessed that they're here, part of my team, and they are my superheroes. Mike encourages us to shop local, and I encourage you to watch local by checking out our HD channel 1086 on Comcast or heading to our website, carrollmediacenter.org. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook and subscribe. You'll get the notifications of all the great local programming that is coming up like this one. Thanks very much, Mike.
Thank you, Richard. You guys are great. We love working with you. Normally speaking, and I kind of miss this when we have a meeting face-to-face, we introduce elected officials, past chairs. I'm just going to run through some names. I don't believe we have any elected officials on the call. It's a little tricky looking at all these little faces on my screen, but I don't believe that we do. But we do have a past mayor of Tawnytown with us and a member of the Chamber's board, and that's Mr. Jim McCarron. Jim, thank you for being here with us today. VIPs, we also have Mr. Jim Ball, president of Carroll Community College and a member of the Chamber's board. So we've got a who's who on our board. And we've also got a who's who of people who were our past chairs. We've got Miss Suzette Kovalt from Farmers and Merchants Bank on our call. Good to have you there. And we also have Mr. Steve Aquino, past chair, the first full year I was here, which would have been 10 years ago, and actually queued up maybe for the first time ever in chamber lore as being the actual chair-elect for next year. So Steve, good to have you here with us. Did I miss any past chairs? Did I miss any elected officials? I don't think I did. I'm quickly scanning the pages here, so I don't believe so. Okay, that's my stuff for right now. Now I'm going to introduce you to the current chair of our board, Mr. Dennis Twigg. He's also a lawyer at Hoffman, Comfort, Offutt, and Halstead, and he's going to guide us through the legalities of the voting for the new board members. Dennis, they're all yours.
Hi, Mike. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for everything you've done so far. I'm Dennis Twigg, and I'm proud to serve as the chair of the board during this year. It's certainly been a unique year, and I'm happy to say the chamber's been responsive to over 600 members that we have. This was not the year I expected serving as the chair, but the chamber's done a great job pivoting, dealing with increased digital presence, restrictions to meetings, and still being a great resource for our community. In my opinion, all that deserves special thanks to Mike, to Peggy, and Becky, who I know are also on this call, for adapting so well and working so hard in light of the unprecedented challenges. Everyone's had to adjust, but the chamber's been leading the charge right alongside everyone else, including its membership. Thanks to all the members that have stayed active and have come together to help our community continue to thrive. This is a challenging time for everyone, but I've talked to a number of people online, offline, phone, and in different capacities, and we've done a really great job doing the best that we can in light of this stuff. Most everyone who would remember a pandemic is not around anymore, and hopefully this is a once-in-a-lifetime problem that we're going to overcome. So in the past year, 6 months, we've Zoomed, we've socially distanced, but now it's time to get down to a bit of official business that we need to conduct here. Once a year, the chamber has its annual meeting, and our members elect 6 directors for 3-year terms that begin on January 1. 3 of our current directors, whose terms expire on December 31st, are eligible to serve another term, and if elected, they all have agreed to do so. Thanks to all of you in advance. We've got Steve Aquino of Aquino Financial Group. He's also going to be serving as my successor, as Mike alluded to. Dave Hogue at M&T Bank, and Sherry Crayson-Bolin of Brown, Schultz, Sheridan, and Fritz. Thank you all for agreeing to serve another term. You've all been pleasures to work with, and you've done a great job representing the constituent businesses. In addition, the following people have agreed to serve their first full term on the board. I believe in these instances, these folks had replaced folks who could not continue their service. So this is their first full 3-year term. We've got Sonia Handa Scale, Brady Chapman of Penguin Random House, Richard Turner, Executive Director of Community Media Center. And Richard's already had a chance to chat, and he's done a great job helping us adapt to the more digital distance reality of this pandemic. Therefore, the board recommends that the membership elect the following slate of 6 individuals to a 3-year term beginning on January 1, 2021. And just to reiterate, Steve Aquino of Aquino Financial Group, Dave Sherry Crayson-Bolin of Brown, Schultz, Sheridan, and Fritz, Sonia Hand of Scale, Brady Chapman of Penguin Random House, and Richard Turner, Executive Director of the Community Media Center. Please, Mike's giving me some instructions here. Only one representative of each member organization may vote. So if there's multiple here, please only have one of you vote. I don't think it's going to be a controversial issue, but just to make sure we follow all the rules. Can I get a motion to approve the recommended slate of directors?
I make a motion to approve the slate of directors as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, there is a second to. Thank you to you both. Now, is there any discussion on this motion or any additional nominations on the floor? Being that there are no additional nominations or motions, we will move forward on the vote to slate recommended by the board. All those in favor say aye, and also use the handy thumbs up symbol that Mike suggested on Zoom. Yep.
Aye.
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 Aye. Yep.
Aye.
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 I don't know how to put my thumb up.
That's all right. We've got thumbs up and we've got ayes. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion is approved. Congratulations to the directors elected and re-elected. You are going to be serving starting in 2021. Mike, back to you.
Dennis, thank you so much. And we needed a lawyer to make that happen. I like that. That's good. Thank you all for taking part in this. And again, thank you to people on the board. We try to make our board a fun board and not a board where you have to work night and day on it. And, it's just great having the type of leadership, guidance, advice that I have from the people on our board. They are honestly a who's who of folks in Carroll. And we have 18 on the board right now. I don't know if everybody was aware of that. And it's great. And we usually don't have any problems when we ask somebody if they want to serve. They usually say, yep, they would love to. So again, thank you all for that. Okay, now we're going to go to the part of the meeting that probably most of you came here for, and that's not to hear me, and that's probably not to vote, but it's to hear from our speaker. Jeremy Willett is, I just made a couple of notes, as I have known him for a while. He's a local man with a global heart. I don't know if that's ever been said about you, but you could use that and I wouldn't charge you anything for that.
Thank you.
He's also the Carroll Biz Challenge Winner for 2020, which is no easy feat. We had 29 local entrepreneurs apply. We picked the top 5 and they all pitched at a live event in August, and he walked away with the grand prize, and very, very much something that he earned and that he deserved, and the passion that he had was shown through to everybody there. He's also the owner of Willet Family Farm. So Jeremy, if you'd mute yourself right now, I believe we have a little thing to show as an intro to you. So I will say, Mr. Willett.
Hey guys, Jeremy here from Willet Family Farm, and we are so excited to have just won the 2020 Carroll Biz Challenge. Thank you so much. Our entire family is so dedicated to this land, but also to this community. You see, we hope you know that us winning this event was really a win for all of Carroll County, for the other farmers that we're going to pour into, for the other local businesses that we're able to bring revenue to through our unique agritourism events, and for the entire community as being a place in Carroll County where we can welcome everyone to experience the beauty of an agricultural rural setting in Maryland. You can go to willetfamilyfarm.com to find out about the events that we're planning right now and for ways that you can get involved. willetfamilyfarm.com, where you can follow also on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks guys so much. The tallest structure on our farm is this windmill, constructed in 1874. And it quickly became the logo for our business because a windmill is something that harnesses power for a specific purpose. For my grandfather and my great-grandfather, they used this windmill to harness the power of the wind, to grind grain and to pump water. But now in the 21st century, Willet Family Farm hopes to harness the power of agriculture that's so rich in our county to benefit every member of our community. I'm Jeremy from Willet Family Farm. I was born in Carroll County in 1985, and I grew up on the outskirts of our family farm. Unfortunately, following the death of a family member, I watched as our farm had to be sold outside of the family. When I graduated from Carroll Community College, I started my career in the music industry and had the opportunity to travel to over 22 different countries around the world and 48 of the 50 states. But then I did something that not a lot of people do from this county. I moved back, and I moved back to buy back the farm. Unfortunately, in 2017, we lost the farmhouse to a terrible fire, and our family found ourselves with just the clothes on our back. But this experience actually drew us closer to our neighbors as we watched as members of our community rallied around our family, making sure that we had everything we needed. Later that summer, I was given this really unique opportunity to travel to Mozambique, Africa, to learn from a community of African farmers who were practicing sustainable agriculture. While I was there was no running water or no electricity, and we ate only one meal a day. But I also learned that there was a funeral every day, and these deaths were being caused by the water that the children had to drink. When I left that village, I knew that I had to do something about what I was seeing. You see, Willet Family Farm is on 200 acres that's owned by our family and preserved in agriculture. And we produce things like vegetables and fruit and poultry, and we make it available on a unique pay-what-you-can model to ensure that every member of our community has access to nutritious food, whether they can pay for it or not. We also put on agritourism events and farm stays. In fact, here are a few quotes from recent guests that we've had to our farm. In the past year, we've welcomed over 200 guests from 9 different states and 2 different countries. Most of these are families, the adults with their kids, who come to help collect eggs and hold the rabbits and watch the horses in the pastures, but then help collect firewood and sleep under the stars. In addition, we promote local businesses right here in Carroll County, connecting tourists to our local economy. And finally, all of our events are in partnership with Child Fund International, where we give our guests an opportunity to invest in sustainable agriculture all over the world. In January of 2020, I was able to go back to that same village in Mozambique to see a new clean water well that our family farm helped fund for all of the children there. Willet Family Farm hopes to be the windmill that harnesses the power of agritourism in Carroll County, Maryland. We are a local farm with a global impact. We proudly make our home in Carroll County, Maryland. Thank you guys so much. So good to be here with you. And I'm Jeremy from Willet Family Farm. And as you saw, we just had this opportunity to win the Carroll Biz Challenge. And a special thank you to Mike and the Chamber and Steve Lowe putting on an amazing event. And, you know, it was really interesting for us as a family because we went into that challenge knowing that we were up against and partnering with a bunch of other local businesses in town that had an amazing business plan, that had an amazing product. And we had worked really hard as a family on those things. But what we decided to do is to focus on telling a story. And that's what we wanted to be an expert at the challenge. And you see, I actually travel as a public speaker around the world and try to raise money for charities. And in the past 13 years, have had the opportunity to raise about $50 million for these amazing organizations helping children all over the world. And just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to speak at this leadership conference with a best-selling author, John Maxwell. Really great guy, and the roster was just stacked with these leadership coaches and presidents of organizations and best-selling authors. And then there was me, a guy from Carroll County, Maryland. And as I was preparing for that, I felt a lot of pressure to kind of put together like this outline of the 12 best practices in leadership or something like that. But really at the end of the day and kind of at the last minute, I decided to stick with the power of telling story to be able to help this audience really grasp this understanding of leadership. And that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today. No matter what sector you're in, no matter what your business is, I wanted to share with you the power that story can have. Now, the assumption would be that when you're telling story that you're just going to be talking about yourself, that you're telling your own story. But what I have found a lot of benefits to is that there's power in telling a 3-part story. One is telling your own story. What is your background? How did you end up where you are in your certain career, industry, or sector? But then secondly, there is a customer story. The people that you serve, they have a story. They have a background and a set of circumstances that have brought them to your doorstep. And their story is extremely important because that's how you know how to serve them best. And then finally, there's a third part of this that I believe strongly in, and there is our community story. And you see, that's actually what kind of unites us here today is that we are all part of Carroll County, a part of the Chamber. So we have this community here. But your business, it actually might be serving the state of Maryland. And so an entire state is the community in which you can tell the story. It might be the United States or a territory around the world. And so regardless of the size of your community story matters. I wanted to give you an example of something that we've seen happen with our business. A couple of years ago, we were contacted by this company called Hip Camp. It's similar to Airbnb, but it's for people that love the outdoors and enjoy camping. So it's for tent campers and RV campers. And they approached our farm and said they had a lot of success on the West Coast and were moving across the Midwest and really wanted to open up a new sector in the East Coast. And so they explained their model. Our family went into then kind of vetting this company, looking at the financials, interviewing some of their customers and other hosts, and then also looking at the values that HipCamp had to make sure that it aligned with our priorities as a company here in Maryland. And after doing kind of that vetting process, we fell in love with HipCamp. It aligned so perfectly that we decided that we would start this venture. And so we opened up our very first campsite on our farm, and instantly, within days, we had our first guest. Well, that spiraled over the next year. Every single weekend from Thursday to Sunday was booked by somebody coming from this marketplace of HipCamp. We did no advertising, local or regionally. We did no advertising. It was all coming through this network and this marketplace that HipCamp had already established. And it showed us that there was a demand. And so through that process, we then realized, well, we are committed to providing an exceptional experience for our customers on the farm, no matter what kind of events we're doing or anything. And also, we're always looking at ways that we can scale up. And so before we scaled up, though, we wanted to make sure that our guests on the farm that were doing these farm stays through the HipCamp marketplace were truly having an exceptional experience. And so we started asking questions and asking for reviews. And that's where we decided to invest in the customer. We started adding things like a picnic table. We added free campfire wood. We quickly found out through a lot of the reviews that many other campsites that some of these guests had visited always were nickeled and dimed and had to purchase campfire wood when they got there on the site, or purchase water and things like that. So we provided a jug of free drinking water. And then we added experiences. They could come and help collect eggs in the morning with us, because many of these people were coming from Philadelphia or Baltimore or Washington, D.C., and had never really experienced rural life. And so as we added these experiences to their stay, it created a lot of value and a lot of demand. At that time, we realized there was an opportunity to scale up, and we opened 3 other campsites on our farm. In 1 year, every single weekend was sold out, and we were able to even increase our revenue over the course of holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July, etc. But as we learned our customer story by asking questions, especially in the era of COVID, we quickly found out that a lot of these people were seeking out these kind of outdoor stays because they had been in lockdown for months, and they lived in apartments or in the suburbs and really just needed to get out under the stars. And so as we experienced this, we recognized that the best thing we could do is not just continue to build our own story and our own revenue stream, but to provide other accessibility for these campers, because there's so much demand, but also that there would be an opportunity to invest in our community story, and our community meaning Carroll County. And so what we did is we started to go to other farmers in town and telling them about this new revenue stream, and also explaining the great demand that was happening. And thus far, Carroll County has been pro-agriculture, as everybody knows, right? We're the second largest county for the number of farms in the state of Maryland. That's pretty phenomenal. Thousands and thousands of farms. So there's people with lots of land that could really benefit those that are in the surrounding cities. And so instead of simply holding this demand to Willet Family Farm, we decided that we wanted to really share this revenue and this idea with other farm owners in town so that they could experience the benefit of this, and also serve our customers that were having trouble finding dates available. And so through this, we've watched as other farmers have become hosts through HipCamp and are starting to have guests and provide an exceptional experience. Again, though, through this, we wanted to make sure that we were committed to story. Our own story now was being benefited. We had new revenue and this amazing opportunity to help people experience the outdoors. We were invested in our customers' story, meeting their needs. But thirdly, we wanted to know, how can we benefit the story of Carroll County? And what we found out was that there is a lot of agritourism opportunities, but what we need to do as a county is to continue to work together to even change some things in the local codes that would help support more agritourism efforts. And so I was able to build a consulting agreement with HipCamp through these ventures that we were doing to allow me to go to other farmers in the state of Maryland and beyond to share about this great resource. One thing that I found out through this process, though, is that as the demand increased, I wanted to be transparent with our county officials. So I actually went to the commissioners myself and I said, hey, we've been testing out this idea and we're seeing a lot of success with it and we're seeing a lot of demand, but I want to make sure that we're compliant with the current code. We should only be allowed to operate one. And so to be compliant, and the zoning department was extremely helpful, we shut down the other 2 sites and continue to operate only 1 campsite on our farm currently. But through this, I was able to learn the process. Why was the zoning department causing us to keep just 1 campsite instead of expanding? And I found out that's because they're adhering to the commissioner's rules. So through that, I learned, well, it's the commissioners that can change the code. So I appealed to the commissioners and asked to be involved in the process of reconsidering some of these codes for the promotion of agritourism in Carroll County. Thankfully, they accepted my request, and we are currently actively working together to consider changing some of that code, which would simply allow landowners to have 1 campsite per 10 acres. So this is still an experience where the campers they're well spread out. It's not like a KOA campground with a concrete loop or anything like that. This is people coming to a farm, going out in the woods, going out in a pasture, and experience the beauty of the outdoors while also providing revenue for our local farmers. And then finally, we've been working directly with HipCamp, not just in Carroll County, but all over the United States, to develop welcome letters and kits. So when the campers come to those campsites, there is information about the local businesses that the campers can go experience while they're there. We've experienced this actually firsthand. We started very simple, but we invited our campers to go to somewhere like Brewery Fire, for instance, to have a beer on Friday nights, or to go to Bulger's Saturday morning and pick their own produce, or go down to the French Twist and get a crepe, right? Well, what we saw is over 200 guests from 9 different states and 2 different countries that were coming to our farm and now pouring money into Carroll County. One specific example is there was a family came all the way from Austin, Texas. So we had revenue being created in Carroll County from a family all the way across the country. Those dollars would have never hit Carroll County if it wasn't for agritourism and this camping experience. And so that's how we were able to add value to our local community in Carroll County. Just last month, through all of these efforts, it's been about 2 years where we've been trying to create an excellent experience for our HIP campers here. We've been trying to pour into their story, and we've been attempting to really write this into Carroll County's story. Just last month, a national magazine, Outside Magazine, named Willet Family Farm as the favorite campsite in all of the state of Maryland, which was just a cool win for our farm and for our family. The interesting part in all of this is as I work with the commissioners to change some of the codes to help other farmers around the area, what's interesting about this is that our family, my wife and I, we only own 12 acres of the 200-acre Willet Family Farm between my cousins and dad, et cetera. And so what's interesting in this is if we are successful in changing some of the code language for Carroll County, it won't actually benefit us one bit. Who it will benefit is the other farmers around the area that have hundreds of acres within their own family. We will continue to only be allowed to run one campsite if we're successful in changing the code. However, my friends right next door that have 350 acres would be allowed to have several campsites and create an amazing revenue stream. So this is not just about our story. Our company, our farm, our family exists not just for the benefit of ourselves, but to try to benefit our customers who come and interact on the farm through unique events and farm stays. And then also, this is about Carroll County's story. This is about grabbing and harnessing that power of agriculture that existed here for a long time, and now expanding to agritourism to continue to bring new revenue streams into Carroll County. So that is our dream. Willet Family Farm has the events that are coming up. We have a Christmas event on December 5th that we can't wait for you to come. It's called Christmas Around the World, and it will benefit our charity partner, Child Fund International. And you can also learn there about how to make a reservation if you'd like to come and camp on our farm, or if you're a landowner and you'd like to be introduced to this new revenue stream, I'd love to help you get set up and benefit from these new revenue streams here. So thanks so much for having me this morning. Really appreciate you guys, and I think we're going to have some question and answer time now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's great to see somebody young who's passionate about agribusiness here in Carroll. I mean, that's what this place has been known for, and it's great to see you with that type of a passion. So there was a code written, I guess you were saying, that I don't know how long ago, that would only allow one campsite, even with somebody that's got 200 acres. I don't know what the deal with that code, what the idea was behind that, but
yeah, that's correct. And that's the current language now. So, somebody like myself with 12 acres or someone with 200 acres, both can only have one campsite. And so we're working to change it.
Sure. Well, that's great. All right. Do we have any questions? If we have questions, we'd like them to be entered into the chat box at the bottom. You can type that in. I do have one while we wait to see if anybody else has any. If there's any local business here in Carroll that wants to partner with you, how could they do that? How do they reach out to you? What phone number, what email, what website? How do they get in touch with you?
Thank you. WilletFamilyFarm.com is where you can find everything. And my email is jeremy@WilletFamilyFarm.com. And the phone number is 443-375-2758. And I'll drop all that in the chat for you if you'd like, just to copy and paste that.
That would be great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yes, we've got a question here. Julie Pia Cassidy, she's asking, do you hold farm to table events?
That's a great question, Julie. Thank you so much. We're actually getting ready to hold our first kind of event like that on Mother's Day in 2021. Most of our events, like many people, were canceled in 2020, but we're looking to be able to do it safely in 2021 on Mother's Day, where we have an outdoor event. What we used our Carroll Biz Challenge grand prize money for was actually purchasing a large event tent so that we could do these events outdoors. And so we're gonna have a Mother's Day event where we have some of the food from our farm that's grown here, as well as a food truck that'll be catering, and then some local music, flower bouquets that were grown on our farm, new baby animals that were just being born in the spring. And so we're hoping to do that. And I see your question here about Alzheimer's organization.
Yeah.
We absolutely could. So we often we'll do about 4 events where our family actually puts on the event. We produce it, we market it, all that. And then we also rent out our farm for other organizations, churches, stuff like that, that would like to utilize the property for that.
Awesome. And I see it looks like you just put the information up there in the chat too. Wonderful. Any other questions that we might have? I think this tourism that you're doing like this is awesome, bringing folks into this area. I mean, I look at another business that's basically ag-based, that's done a great job, like Old Westminster Winery. I mean, if you've ever been there on a Friday, I mean, I guarantee they're bringing people in that aren't just from Carroll. And those people are buying food and gas and maybe staying overnight at a hotel or whatever. So this is important to play to our strengths here in Carroll. You know, it's a very ag-based area, so why not pay to why not play to our strengths? Looks like I've got somebody wanting to ask a question.
Are you referencing me?
I'm referencing you because I'm seeing your face.
Okay. I'm Peggy Dean. I'm Jeremy and Kat's next door neighbor. They introduced me to Hip Camp. I started in July. We don't make a lot of money off of these visitors. And Hip Camp has been a most pleasant industry with which to work. They cover us insurance-wise. They take a very small percentage of our $15 during the week, $30 for a weekend night. I'm here with my husband who has Alzheimer's. What I want to add to this is that, number one, farmers and farmettes have a tough time. The fellow that, well, I shouldn't even say it that way. I should say that I know of a farmer who at the end of the month in July, after all the bills were paid, had $12 and some cents left over. That's not even a trip to McDonald's. So if we, I see Carroll County as having two choices. Either we become a total bedroom, or we maintain our countryside, which when you get on the back roads is just astonishing, wonderful. We should have bikers out there, hopefully those that pedal instead of motor. People hiking, walking, little farms that can stick tables out where they're selling their cookies or their lemonade as the people go by. In other words, I would like to see Carroll County be like the rural suburbs in England or France, where people can go out and enjoy the countryside. My second experience has been that the people that have come and I've met have been a wide variety, the most delightful people. I feel far more confidence in the young people that are coming along because of these people for our country. It's just been absolutely astounding. Almost everybody wants to take a tour of my barn of 1886. It's in the process of renovation, which they have found absolutely fascinating as well. So if I can accomplish nothing more than to cut the tax bill on my farm, and if other farmers can do the same, I think that's the financial value of HIP Camp for other farms, is just to be able to cut that tax bill. We're not going to get wealthy off of it. And in my situation, I have what we call a lower meadow, which is presently overrun by invasive species. If I can get some grants to bring that back to nature, it's an area that people just will not experience necessarily even in a park, because it's just a totally entirely different environment. So I hope that we can make this all work out well. And because Carroll County is just uniquely beautiful the way it is.
Peggy, thank
you,
you so much for your words of wisdom. It's nice to see hip young folks like you and Mr. Willett on this call. Thank you.
Thank you very much, but I'm going to be 80 in December.
Well, that's okay. What do they say? 80 is the new 50 or something.
There
like
you
that.
go.
At least that's what
I'm.
Jeremy, we have another couple questions for you.
Great.
Or a couple comments. I don't know if you saw them that come up. We've got one from Richard Turner saying, tell us about how you discovered the power of telling your story. And that's an important question, because that's something that really any business can use to tell their story. So again, Peggy, if you'd mute yourself and I'll mute myself so they'll only see Jeremy while he answers, that would be great.
Yeah, great question, Richard. I learned this over the course of several years because my career started in public speaking for charities. And for a while, I would share things like statistics to help present the need that I was seeing around the world to help children living in poverty specifically. And then also, I would try to share about my experience and my interactions with those children. But what I found was I actually had to allow the audience to see themselves in the story of being the hero. And when I put the audience as the hero, as opposed to the organization that I was fundraising for, that's when I saw the response to the donations go significantly way up. And so I think that applies to the nonprofit sector, but also to business. When you're sitting down pitching to a new potential customer or maybe to an investor, instead of just focusing on your product and your business plan, I think there's a lot of power in actually letting that investor or potential customer see themselves in that plan. How is this actually going to benefit them, and how are they going to be involved in it? And so when I did that and added the audience or the customer into the story is when I saw a lot of benefit. And so that's really what started my approach. No matter what, if I'm creating a proposal for a potential partnership, if I'm sending a proposal to work on a specific project or campaign, I always try to include that organization or customer into that experience versus just me telling them what value I can give to them.
Thank you, sir. And I believe there might have been another question, or there was a comment. Joseph Mahoney from Sober Truth just says, what your story tells me is that there's always room for creativity and new ways of doing things. Very true.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. And we love collaboration. We love partnership. And for instance, when we had guests starting to come to the farm and we recognized that they wanted to actually, eat the food that was being grown right here in Carroll County, at first we were kind of down on ourselves because we hadn't really started producing many things from our farm. But then we realized, well, okay, wait a minute. Like, I think we are going to do that. We're going to scale up our production of food soon. But until we do that, there's Bogger's Orchard less than 2 miles away. Why don't we just include and promote a local business right in town where they can have an excellent experience? And that's exactly what we did. And we hear a lot of testimonials about people just going right up there and being able to pick their own produce. So that's a win-win for us, for our customer, and again, for our community.
So it really is all about relationships. It reminds me really of what we do at the actual chamber, and that's bringing people together. So many of the events that we do, they weren't my idea. It was one of the actual members that we have, and then we get behind it and it happens, and which has been great. Are there any other questions? If you just tuned in recently, if there's somebody you'd like to have see this, you can certainly go to our website, to CMC's website, all these different places, it will be up. We have a couple people typing some stuff in. Here's Julie Cassidy says, "In approaching life and work with an abundant attitude versus scarcity." And Karen Pelton from Carroll Community College says, "Such a visionary and hidden treasure in our community. Thank you for your presentation." Dean Camlin, "This is really inspirational. Thank you, thank you, Jeremy." And, I've seen that with so many of the things that we do, the places that we take folks opens their eyes to what's going on out here in Carroll. And there's so many hidden jewels, and a lot of us don't see it. You get bogged down and you just see what you're doing, and you don't see all these amazing things that we have around us. So I'd like to encourage you to open your eyes, especially as we get into the end of the year. The holidays are going to be upon us, and normally most people get gifts for folks. And there's never a better time to spend your money locally than right now. Getting gift cards to local restaurants, to local farms, going to some of the shops up and down Main Streets, buying things local. Everybody needs to go to Amazon once in a while, but we don't need to shop everything at Amazon just because we don't really want to get up and out and go out and do our thing. There's so much in this world right now that's really negative. Just look at the elections. I mean, you can't turn on almost any network without hearing how horrible the other side is. They're all liars, they're all this, and we're bombarded with this so much, and it can get discouraging. And at the very end of it, what can you really do? I mean, you can cast your vote, you can protest, you can carry signs, but at the end of it, our efforts by ourselves don't have as much weight as the efforts we can do to shop local. I know we hear it a lot, but believe me, there's these little businesses, there are these that need our help, and we can make a difference in their lives. So I'd encourage you, stay positive, make that happen. All right, we actually have a couple more minutes. If anybody has any other questions, I'll give it another 10 seconds here. And if I don't see any pop up, we will let you go a little early. Again, I want to thank CMC for all that they've done for us, for helping with this event. Mr. Willett, I want to thank you. Unmute yourself and just want to say thanks again.
Thanks, man.
You did a great job, and so great. My entire family and I are coming out to your place this coming Saturday for a little tour of the farm. We're excited about that. We might move in.
Looking forward to it.
If the house is large enough, we might all move in. Just so
Come on, we got a big barn.
That sounds good. And again, everyone, please go to our website. If you want to check out some of our events, carrollcountychamber.org. You can call us up at 410-848-90550. I'd ask you, be kind to one another. This whole COVID thing is going to go away. We're going to get through it. And we just need to stick together and help each other out like the family that we are here in Carroll. So I'm seeing no more questions. Oh, that's right. And Jeremy just wrote, see you tonight at the town mall. Don't forget, we've got our new member meet and greet at the town mall from 4 to 6. If you come, wear masks. Whether you believe in wearing masks or not, wear masks. We do things because it seems like it makes sense. I'm not an expert on all this stuff, but I've heard enough to know I wear a mask when I'm out, and I know it makes others very, very comfortable. Plus, it hides half of this face of mine, which is always a good thing. And for some of you, it might be a good thing too, but I'm not going to say who, okay? Listen, thank you all so much, and we will see you around, okay? Thanks. The meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.